Hi friends! Welcome back to Manicures and Must-Reads, the channel where I do my nails based on novels. Although instead of based on novels today, I'm going to be doing my nails based on the suggestions that you gave me on Instagram. So a few weeks ago I posted on my feed and my story that I wanted help coming up with random ideas to do on my nails, and you all sure delivered. I picked as many ideas as I could possibly combine into 10 individual nails, and here is what happened. Alright, so we're gonna start with my left thumb. The first idea came from livelovely.mt, and she suggested Grey's Anatomy. Now, I don't watch Grey's Anatomy. I'm so sorry. I know that's like a huge show that a lot of people are obsessed with. So, we're gonna just do a pretty cool, basic little EKG line. So let's get started. So the first thing I do in all of these designs is apply the UNT Nail Lacquer Peelable Base Coat, and I've described why I like it in every other video, so I'm not going to bore you with it again today. Next up, I'm going to be applying L'Oreal Jet Set Quick Dry in the shade Lightning Pearl. I've looked everywhere. This is a very old polish. I don't even know if they sell it anymore, but I just really love this polish. It's so sparkly and pearly that it looks great for any design base. It took me 3 coats to get to the opacity I want, so just apply it until it looks right to you. Next, I'm going to be taking this Twinkle Tea detail brush. It is number 000. It is, I believe, the smallest detailing brush that they offer. So I'm going to be using 2 colors of acrylic paint. They're both by Anita's All-Purpose Acrylic Craft Paint. The one is called Black Noir, and the other is True Red. I'm putting them in this little artist's thingamabob. I don't know what you call these. I know there's a name for them, but I forget. So with my detailing brush, I'm just taking the black paint, and I'm following that design that I found on Google as closely as I can. Because I'm using my right hand and painting on my left hand, I'm able to actually get it to somewhat look like what I was going for. But you'll see later on that when I have to do my right hand with my left hand, I take a bit of a shortcut. Sorry if I am a little bit out of the camera angle at some times, but I was focusing and concentrating so hard to try and get this done well for you all that I sometimes forgot that I needed to be within the camera's view. Next, I'm just taking my detail brush again, and I'm using the red paint and drawing a little heart off to the side of the line. It took a few coats to get it to show up over the black, so just let it dry each time and then apply another coat until it's opaque. Next, I will be doing this after every nail design. I'm taking my Twinkle Tea number 6 cleanup brush and some acetone, and just going around the edges, clearing up whatever paint, nail polish, anything I get along the sides of my nails. And lastly, the Seche Vite Quick Dry Top Coat. It is the best top coat, very thick, very glossy. Just paint that all over your design to seal it all in. Alright, moving on to the next design. This is going to be a combination of 2 people's ideas because I like them both and they were compatible. So the first part of the idea came from Destiny Hipkins. She told me to do a summery ombre since it was about midsummer when I asked for these ideas. Unfortunately, it is not summer any longer, but that doesn't mean we can't do a nice bright ombre on our nails. I also got roasted toasted by Elle Gabler on Instagram. She said, quote, "Do something without hollow since that seems impossible for you." I would try and come back, but you right. So just for you, Elle Gabler, I'm not gonna put hollow in this. She also said put flowers, because she likes flowers. So we're gonna put a flower too. Why not? Let's just go crazy. Let's put all the ideas. So for the ombre, I'm using 2 colors. They are both by China Glaze. The one is Rose Among Thorns, and the other is Too Yacht to Handle. Once again, I wish I could be the one to name nail polishes. Now I kinda messed up here. Usually you apply the lighter color as the base to have the ombre stick to, but did I do that? No. I tried to, but for some reason in my mind I thought the pink was lighter than the light blue. So I had a little bit of a trouble getting it to stick, but it still worked out in the end. It just made it a little difficult for me. So I applied 2 coats of Rose Among Thorns, but if you're doing this at home, friends, you should apply the 2 Yacht to handle first. Next, we are taking Bliss Kiss Simply Peel Latex Barrier and applying it all over our cuticles and down to the knuckle, and even on the back of my finger a little bit, because it's going to make this so much easier to clean up. And just like in my last book mani video, we are going to be taking a basic makeup sponge, applying little stripes of each color, and just rolling it across the nail until we get a nice little gradient from the one color to the other. And now that your gradient is done, you can peel off that Simply Peel and appreciate your clean cuticles that you don't have to clean yourself. Next, to do the flower, I'm going to be using Martha Stewart's acrylic paint. This is the Pearl variety, and the color is Mother of Pearl. So now I'm just going to be using this dotting tool set that I got. There are 5 different dotting tools, and each tool has 2 ends, so there are 10 sizes. I am using the biggest size, which is the one end of the white tool, and I'm just dipping it in that paint and putting 5 big dots on my nail, and we're going to make it look more like a flower with the smaller end of the white tool by dragging out the paint into a more petally shape. Next, we're going to be using Folk Art Color Shift paint in the color Aqua Flash. I guess it doesn't count if the bottle of paint has hollow on it. Did I just find a loophole? And we're just going to be taking 1 dot of that and putting it in the middle of our flower to match the one side of the gradient and tie it all together. And then just the last couple steps of cleaning up your cuticles and painting on your Seche Vite top coat, and we're done with that one. 2 down, 8 to go. My next idea is a combination of 2. The one came from Mac W5. She said to do a water marble, which, Mac, do you hate me? I'm really bad at water marble, like really bad. I've tried it a million times. I've only gotten it to succeed a few times, so I don't know. I didn't have much hope for this one, but I figured I'd try it because what's a challenge without some difficulty? And the second part of the idea came from Jacqueline Burgunier. She said, do marble. So we're gonna do a water marble in colors that look like actual marble. It sounds good in my head. Let's see how it pans out. As usual, apply the base coat. And next we're going to be going in with that same L'Oreal color that I used on the EKG nail. And we're going to be doing 3 coats of that again to get it to the opacity that I want. Next, put some Simply Peel all around your nail, because when you dip your nail in a puddle of nail polish, obviously it's not going to just go on your nail, it's going to get everywhere. I use these little Luigi's Italian ice cups for basically everything. I ate a lot of them when I had my tonsils taken out, so I just have all these random cups that I cleaned and kept for crafts. They're the perfect size, especially for a water marble. So, we're just going to take some water, and we are going to take 2 colors of nail polish. They're both by Sally Hansen Extreme Wear. The one is called Blackout, and the other is called Gunmetal. So like I said, I'm not great at water marbling, but I at least know how to do it. So I'm just going to tell you the general principles of water marbling, and we'll see where this goes. Basically, you want a cup of water, and you want 2 polishes, preferably of the same brand and the same age, so that they'll both spread out in the same fashion. And you're just going to kind of drop one into the water. It'll spread out, make a little film, and then you're just going to work pretty quickly and do the next one, and the next one, and the next one, so that they just continue to spread out in little circles, and then you can spread it out however you want with a toothpick. But instead of using a toothpick, I decided to use some alcohol. I have a little bit of rubbing alcohol in a spray bottle, and I am just spraying it onto the surface of the water to kind of break it up, which I thought would make it look more like real marble, rather than the typical flower shape of an actual water marble. So now I just dip my nail in it, and oh my gosh, we gotta replay that. Oh my gosh, it turned out decent. How? I'm a sorcerer, guys. I think I have just won at life. I don't know how that happened. I actually succeeded at a water marble for once. Alright, peel off the Simply Peel, clean up whatever is left with some acetone and your cleanup brush, which there will probably still be a lot because that polish gets everywhere. And last but not least, apply your top coat, and you are done. Alright, my next idea came from Corpse Kitty, which is a perfect name for the idea you're about to hear. She suggested that I do Pennywise the Clown from the movie and book It by Stephen King. I have not read It or seen the movie. I have only read Christine by Stephen King, which is a very good book, so I do recommend his writing. So, since I had never seen It, I took to Google to find a picture of Pennywise the Clown so that I could accurately draw him on my nails. I've never been one to be scared of clowns, but looking at these pictures, I guess I can see why some would be. But, I don't know, I still don't get the big deal. Start with our peel off base coat, and now we are using Sinful Shine. It is a line of Sinful colors done by Kylie Jenner, and this color is called Cocoa Nuts. So I painted 2 coats of that. And now for the fun part, all of the painting. So I'll be using a few shades of paint. First of all, Chocolate Brown, also by Anita's acrylic paint. Then we're going to be using the standard Snow Titanium White by Americana that I always use. And then we're gonna also use those black and red colors that I used earlier for the EKG design. So just pour a little bit of all those colors in your artist palette. I think it's called a palette. Is that right? Did I remember it? I think I remembered it. So while I've been blabbing, all I've done is try and replicate the shadows under his eyes by painting a little black semicircle and then the white circles of his eyes. And then I just mixed together a little bit of black and white to make a nice charcoal gray, and I am putting that above his eyes to give him like a mean, sneering kind of look. And now I am just painting little brown circles for his actual eyes. And then I mixed up some red and brown and black just to get like a more crimson color to match his bloody looking mouth. And I just painted a mean kind of grin on his face. And then I took that red paint and dragged it up to his eyes, and then from his gray eyebrows above a little bit, the way he has these weird sort of lines across his face. Next I mixed together some white and a little bit of brown just to get his teeth to a more yellowy kind of color, and I drew a couple little teeth in his mouth. And last but not least, I added a little bit more brown to the red, and I am just coloring in 3 little patches of hair so that it gives you the effect of his clown wig. And I made sure to use some pretty big brush strokes so that you can kind of get the curly hair effect. Next I am taking some white and just kind of painting it around the base of my nail to get his clown collar sort of dealio. And now I'm just taking some acetone and cleaning up the edges. I realized later on that I didn't put his clown nose. I don't know how I forgot that. It's a pretty important feature, so after I cleaned up the cuticles and after I applied the top coat, I went back and filmed me putting on his clown nose again, and then I applied another top coat to seal that in. Well, I can honestly say that is the first creepy clown nail I have ever painted, so that's fun. Alright, 5th nail coming up. This idea came from Colby Jack Cheese 5. He said, do a minion from Despicable Me. And I had actually already done a minion manicure back when I first started doing my nails, and I was just experimenting with anything and everything. So this is what they looked like back then. I tried to make it look a little more polished this time because I really wasn't that great back then. So here we go. Let's pull up a picture just to help us out. I don't get the big obsession with minions, but I also don't feel violence towards them like I know some people do. I'm just kind of neutral. But they are pretty cute. I'll give them that. So base coat, next we're going to be using Extreme Wear and the color Mellow Yellow. And I'm just painting 2 coats of that. This is the most minion-y yellow I have. I don't have a lot of yellow, but this is a fairly accurate minion yellow, I believe. Next we're going to be using Sally Hansen Extreme Wear again in the color Blew Me Away. And we're just going to be painting his little overalls. So I just kind of used short little brush strokes and kind of stopped it about 1/3 to 1/2 of the way up my nail. And I just kind of did a couple coats of that until it looked pretty opaque. And at that point there were a few little blobs. It was a little bit uneven, so I just took a wet brush and tried to clean it up a little. And then I took the Mellow Yellow again and painted it right up to the edge just to clean up that edge. Next I took my detail brush and some black paint again, and I just drew a line across the middle part of the yellow. That's going to be the band of his goggles. And then I took some Sally Hansen Insta-Dry in the color Silver Sweep and my big dotting tool again, and I just kind of dotted a big circle that will be the outside rim of his goggles. I let that dry for a little bit, and while I was letting it dry, I remembered that I needed to put his mouth, and I didn't leave a lot of space, but I managed to squeeze in a little bit of a smirk kind of grin under his goggles and above his overalls. Next, I just took the white paint and the dotting tool again and put a little blob for his eyeball, and then I took a smaller dotting tool and did brown and black to get his actual pupil and iris. Acetone and a cleanup brush, clean up the edges, and paint a nice top coat to seal in his little minion face. And we are done with our minion. If anyone would have told me a few years ago that I would have a minion nail next to Pennywise the Clown, I probably would have believed them. I would do something like that. We're done our left hand, friends. Oh my gosh. Alright, I'm feeling accomplished. Honestly, that water marble gave me like a mega confidence boost. Well, that about wraps it up. You guys gave me some really awesome ideas. I'm really glad I could do a fun video like this. Please like and subscribe if you like my vibe. Check out my blog, check out my Instagram, check out my Pinterest, and let me know what you think. You can find the Instagram handles of everyone who suggested these ideas in the description box below, so definitely go check them out. They are lovely people, and I suggest you follow all of them. Bye!